Hello. We continue our training. We have already learned to roll up the tubes. We have learned to make a round bottom. Today we will pass on from the bottom to plaiting the poles of our flower pot. To do this, we will use a 3-liter bottle as a form. Look, the diameter of our bottom corresponds to the diameter of a 3-liter bottle bottom. That's enough. So we have a round bottom and 2 tubes with the help of which we will plaiting the bottom. Now, in order to pass on to the walls, we need to complete our bottom neatly. That is, to tuck the tips of those tubes which we were plaiting with inside neatly, to make the bottom round and complete it smoothly. In order to tuck the tubes inside, we prepare a place for them. I use a knitting needle for this purpose. Relax a little bit this way. Now take the first tube, bend it a little, bend a little, and put it into the place prepared for this purpose. This way, we overcome the first row and pass on to the next one. Push it slightly with a knitting needle. Our tube is rather thick, but we overcome this difficulty. We did it. Tuck. So, the first tube is hidden. Hide the next one. Both tubes are hidden. Cut off the tips. If our wickerwork was looser, then we would have to drop a bit of glue onto the places that we cut. But in our case we don't have to, because the wickerwork is thick enough. I think it will hold without any glue. So we have a round, flat bottom. We pass on to the walls. Take the tube, the first one, and get it under the following, and lift it up. We get the following tube after the third one and lift it up. Under the fourth one, lift it up. The following one under the fifth one, lift it up. And we continue this way until we complete the whole circle. The fifth one under the sixth one, the sixth one under the seventh. We form a smooth rim. Our wickerwork is becoming resistant and neatly looking. We finish the row. The last but one tube, and the last one that still lies horizontally. We tuck it into the hole just behind the first curved tube. This way the whole row has become smooth, and we have got such a framework. Our task is making this tube straight while plaiting, and our form, our 3-liter bottle, will help us. Make them straight neatly. Until we start plaiting, we cannot make them straight. You can use a rubber band, of course, and braid the tubes evenly. But I've tried and I don't like it. Why? Because then it is uncomfortable to plait. It is much easier while plaiting to pull these tubes slightly up and make them straight this way. We got it. The frame is ready. We have a bottom we have a smooth blending from the bottom to the side walls, and now we start plaiting the side walls. For convenience we connect two tubes, bend them, and in the same way as we were starting plaiting the bottom, we start plaiting the walls. This way of plaiting is called rope, or it can be also called two tubes plaiting. It is the most practical one. It keeps the shape. In general, it's the most commonly used way of plaiting. So, we go around the first tube. Here are the two tubes we will work with, two working tubes. We wind the first working tube around the following pole and pull it outside. Take the next working tube, the second one, and wind it around the following pole from inside. Got it? Take the previous one. We take the tube and wind it around the following pole. Press it gently, make it thick. We take the previous one again, wind it around the following pole. Don't forget to make it thick to get our wickerwork neat. And this way, alternating between the working tubes, winding each of them around the following pole, we twine the whole wickerwork around. Continue plaiting. We've got 8 rows already. Look at it also from this perspective. Through the bottle, wind the tube around the pole, press it. Wind the following one, press. I remind you of how we make the tube longer. These ones are rather thin and with more or less even tips. That's why, in order to enter them into each other, to connect them, I bend the edge and tuck it this way, and make the next one longer too. I choose a thinner tip if they differ from each other, and enter. A bent one is getting inside quite easily, and we continue plaiting. In the places of connection, we try not to pull too hard. On the contrary, press them down slightly with your finger. We'll better press them down a little harder later, where there is no connection of tubes. And we continue. Continue this way up to the desired height. So we have plaited enough rows, here we have 10 or 11, to make the wickerwork look completed. Get the frame away, we no longer need a bottle. Our task is now to hide the ends of the working tubes. We've already done it once with the bottom, now repeat the same procedure with the walls. We capture 3 or 4 rows, prepare a place for our working tubes. Now I take the tube, bend it slightly, make it convenient. One can insert a needle into the middle of the tube and suck it inside very neatly. The tube is thin. I've done it anyway. It looks this way. Now we hide the following tube next to the following pole. We bend it in a similar way with the help of a needle. This way. 4 rows of the thick wickerwork will keep our working tubes rather tightly. I cut the edges at the very end of plaiting. Here I think it's better to drop some glue, but closer to the end. So, only the poles are left, and now it is time to make the bending of the edges. Today we will make the elementary bending, the simplest that can ever be, the one anyone can handle. In the next lessons we will make more difficult ones. So, I am pulling the tubes a little like this, carefully to make sure they do not break when bent. Prepare them a little bit, and what we do? Take one of the poles, prepare a place next to the following one, and tuck it inside. You can do it this way, but I've gotten used to this way of bending, as I've already shown. And with the help of a needle, push it inside this way. Got it. Take the next one, prepare a place for it, tighten slightly, bend. We insert a tube into the place of bending, and the 3 rows will be holding this pole tightly. Prepare the following one in the same way, bend slightly, prepare a place for it. You can do it this way, or you can do it like that, if the tubes are thick, right into the middle of it. So, we've got it!